I'm not even doing it, man. I do my research, man. What do you?
You didn't even do your own stunts in the Great War. You didn't even know how to use that bow and arrow. Yeah. You ain't got shit to walk on, buddy. Ain't got shit.
It's messed up, man. I never said Hawkeye wasn't cool.
Fool, you didn't listen.
I'm sorry.
Lady Sif, get help!
Somebody help!
Sorry for all I've done.
Shh. It's all right. Hold on.
I'm sorry. I tried to rule Earth.
I'd be lucky to have you.
I'm sorry about that thing with the Tesseract. I just couldn't help myself.
I know.
I'm a trickster.
Yes, so mischievous.
Yeah. Sorry about that time I turned you into a frog.
It was a wonderful joke.
It was indeed hilarious.
You are the savior of Asgard.
Tell my story. Build a statue for me.
We will build a big statue for you.
With my helmet on, with the big bendy horns.
I will tell Father what you did here today.
You didn't do it for him.
I didn't do it for him.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Hawkeye would be proud of Thor for standing up for him. So if you guys have no idea what's going on, obviously Chris Hemsworth is hanging out with Matt Damon and they're just messing around a little bit. They shot this. He said it only took one take to get this too. Because it's Comic-Con week, we also have a cool update on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, aka Asgardians of the Galaxy. So we'll break it all down. And there's a new round of that IMAX ticket giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Thor or Avengers moment on the video. But in case you didn't remember, it's been a hot minute since Thor Ragnarok. Matt Damon came to do that very special cameo with Chris Hemsworth's real-life brother, Luke Hemsworth. There's a whole bunch of Hemsworth brothers out there. They're all actors. The way they recorded the audio is kind of janky, so if you couldn't hear what they're actually saying, Chris Hemsworth is just calling him out for not doing his own stunts. He makes fun of him in The Great Wall, which was a movie in China that Matt Damon did a couple of years ago. Don't watch it, it's a terrible movie, but the character that he plays does a lot of archery during it. So he's just calling him out for that, apparently because I guess Matt Damon was making fun of Hawkeye before this. So Chris Hemsworth Thor just standing up for his buddy Hawkeye, and then Matt Damon just kind of dejectedly walking away with the arrow stuck to his forehead. I didn't make fun of Hawkeye, I don't know what you're talking about.
I never said Hawkeye wasn't cool.
Most of you are probably like, wait a minute, why are they even in this video together? Well, Chris Hemsworth and Matt Damon are friends in real life. They've been friends for a long time, so their families naturally will go on vacations together when they're both not filming movies.
And my daughter, my 6-year-old, got stung by a jellyfish. Worse than anything. It was the worst thing.
Oh, man.
I mean, even Chris said, he was like, mate, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So right now, Chris Hemsworth is just taking an extended break from filming movies because he just did Avengers Endgame and he just did Men in Black International and they just had their press tours. So he was busy for most of this year. He said he's just taking some time off to be with his family. Matt Damon, also between movies, is just visiting him in Australia. The story of how he actually wound up in Thor Ragnarok is kind of funny too. He said that Chris Hemsworth just called me up, Taika called me up, and I'm friends with those guys. They pitched me the idea and I thought it was hysterical. The idea is basically an intergalactic community theater actor kind of living out Tom Hiddleston's character's fantasy. I just thought it was a great funny bit and easy to do. Those guys are a lot of fun and Taika runs a really fun set. It was a light lift for me. So they filmed that stuff pretty quickly, and if you've listened to the commentary track from Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi doesn't say a whole lot specifically about casting them. He just makes a lot of jokes about Taika-verse crossover with the Marvel Universe, because a lot of these other actors like Sam Neill have also starred in his other non-Marvel films.
Anthony Hopkins, in this scene, I told him, you are going to be playing Tom Hiddleston, playing you. And he said, oh, okay, good. And he turned up in blue eyeliner. Matt Damon. I don't know if you guys recognize him from We Bought a Zoo. But that's him. The little crossover there, little Marvel We Bought a Zoo crossover.
So pretty much everybody in this scene just wound up doing this because they're either friends with Chris Hemsworth or Taika in real life. I don't recall them saying anything about whether or not Matt Damon and Luke Hemsworth's Asgardians characters were killed by Thanos in Thor's ship at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, or whether they got snapped and then brought back by the Hulk snap in Avengers Endgame. Because otherwise, there's a Matt Damon Asgardian walking around New Asgard, being a fisherman like the rest of those Asgardians living on Earth now. Just imagine Matt Damon just showing up in somebody's random movie when they go back to New Asgard. Like I said though, because it's Comic-Con week, there's a bunch of Marvel Phase 4 news flying around. James Gunn recently made some announcements about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, clarifying a little bit about what's going on with Thor and Asgardians of the Galaxy. As you would expect, he gets a lot of spam DMs from crazy fans asking him for details on the movie, this one seemingly freaking out that they're going to suddenly start calling the Guardians of the Galaxy movies as Guardians of the Galaxy because Thor might be in them. James Gunn actually answers, which is surprising, saying, "Don't worry," seemingly confirming that the title of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will not be as Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't think is that huge of a surprise. Guardians of the Galaxy is still a huge brand for Marvel, so regardless of what the plot is, they're not going to suddenly change the name, no matter who they put in the movie. And it also clarifies a little bit about Chris Hemsworth's involvement in the movie as Thor and what they meant by that Avengers Endgame end credit scene where they're joking about who's really in charge of the new Guardians team now.
You should fight one another for the honor of leadership.
Not necessary.
Everybody knows who's in charge.
Me.
Yes, you. Of course. Of course. Of course.
Thor calling the team as Guardians of the Galaxy together again as if they're old pals, they're going to be suddenly journeying together all the time now, and then making you wonder whether or not he was really going to be calling the shots. The big joke being that the Guardians seem like they could go either way in terms of a leader, like, oh yeah, Thor seems pretty awesome, maybe you should fight each other with knives for the honor. But based on what James Gunn is saying, it sounds like it's still going to be a Guardians film with maybe a little bit of Thor in it. So my expectations for Thor, maybe just assisting them a little bit with their Adam Warlock problem and possibly serving as a narrative bridge to introduce the Beta Ray Bill character into the franchise. Beta Ray Bill is still only a rumor right now, but he just joined the Guardians team in the comics this past year. If you didn't listen to any of the big interviews around Thor Ragnarok, they said that they had big plans for the character originally during that movie when they were in the Sakaar scenes in the arena, but they said that they just got to be too much. Kevin Feige said that they decided that they would just save the character for a meteor role in a future movie, so that's how his face wound up on the side of the Grand Master's tower. So that just means that they are planning on introducing Beta Ray Bill at some point, and because he's such a weird character, I mean, he looks kind of like a talking humanoid horse, what better film to introduce him in than the Guardians of the Galaxy? If they can totally make you buy into the idea of a talking tree and a talking raccoon as a character, they can totally get you to buy into Beta Ray Bill. Right now, they're not scheduled to start shooting that movie till later next year. They might mention something about it during Marvel's Phase 4 Comic-Con panel next week. I'm only expecting them to announce the next 3 to 4 years worth of movies, but right now the expected release date for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is 2021. After that, Chris Hemsworth said that he really wants to do Thor 4, and Taika wants to come back to direct another Marvel movie, but the actual plot of that film will just depend on where they leave the Thor character after any Asgardians of the Galaxy adventures that he has during Guardians 3.
Obviously, if you're killed, it'll be your last, but you don't know if you're killed or not. But if you're not, do you think you'll do another one?
Look, as far as this is sort of Marvel's Phase 3 wrapping up, a culmination of all this journey, whether or not they go off and then shoot other things, or do prequels or sequels or whatever they can do. I mean, Loki, my brother's come back 9 times. Every time he dies, he seems to just keep appearing. So who knows what's in store for anyone. Me personally, it's the best fun I've ever had, and I'd be happy to do more if they wanted me, but...
yeah, well, then I think they will.
More than happy.
So let me know in the comments, what do you want them to do with Thor in the Marvel Universe if he stays mostly in space for Marvel Phase 4? Think about the Spider-Man Far From Home post-credit scene with Nick Fury on the Sword space station. That means that when they get ready for Avengers 5, they can actually do it more as a space-based film. Thor doesn't even have to come back to planet Earth to do that. I think part of the reason for doing that post-credit scene is to let you know that the really big Avengers-level stuff is going to be happening mostly in outer space, and they can keep the more grounded character movies on Earth, say like Spider-Man, so it can get much bigger, but he won't be overshadowed by Avengers doing stuff on planet Earth because they'll be busy in outer space. There was a lot more Marvel Phase 4 movie news. There was some Dark Avengers, Young Avengers stuff going around, so I'll probably do a video about that at some point. Leave your requests in the comments below. Click here for that Spider-Man Far From Home Fantastic Four Easter egg video, and click here for my Spider-Man 3 teaser video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.